Bei uns findet die kleinste Zielgruppe der Welt ein Zuhause.
Martin Garneider, Konstantin Zander und Julia Vieregge.
Bester Podcast der Welt.
So, meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren, herzlich willkommen zu einer weiteren Folge dieses traumhaften Podcastes. Diesmal ohne Julia. Hatte ich einfach keinen Bock drauf. Ich mag die nicht mehr. Das Thema ist, glaube ich, durch. Heute dafür aber mit einem ganz wunderbaren Gast, einem sehr guten Freund von mir, dem Gavin Turnbull. Gavin hat für 10,5 Jahre den Timon im König der Löwen gespielt, war danach Klupper im Glöckner von Notre Dame in Stuttgart und hat auch anno dazu mal beim ersten Glöckner damals in Berlin im Jahr 2001 oder so, war er Cover-Klupper. Mit Gavin habe ich gemeinsam Titanic und Funny Girl in Bad Hersfeld gespielt. Jeder, der diesen Podcast kennt, weiß, was mir Titanic als Produktion bedeutet. Gavin ist in meinen Augen einer der besten Schauspieler, die ich kenne. Ich habe ihn in ein paar Rollen einspringen sehen, damals in Bad Hersfeld, in Titanic, und war völlig am Ende meiner Kräfte. So ein großartiger Typ. Ich habe ihn leider nicht als Clopin sehen können, aber ich sag mal so, wer 10,5 Jahre lang in der gleichen Rolle verlängert wird beim König der Löwen, das spricht schon mal auf jeden Fall für sich. Gavin ist obendrauf einer der lustigsten Menschen, die ich kenne und einer der nettesten, bescheidensten, tollsten. Es gibt nichts Negatives, was man über diesen Mann sagen kann. Deswegen hoffe ich, ihr genießt diese Folge genauso, wie ich das ganze Gespräch genossen habe. Wir haben ungefähr vor einer Woche schon einmal eine Podcast-Folge aufgenommen, aber beschlossen, das Ganze nochmal zu machen. Die erste Folge wäre auf Deutsch gewesen. Aber das Ganze wird einfach authentischer, wenn wir das auf Englisch machen. Hier ist es also noch einmal auf Englisch. Alle, die kein Englisch sprechen, jetzt ist die Chance, es endlich zu lernen mit dem wunderbaren Gavin und mir zusammen. Ganz viel Freude bei der Folge. Mr. Turnbull, Gavin, wie schön dich zu sehen.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. Other than my days are very much the same. And by that I mean I have 3 places that I go to in the day, either my bed, the couch, or I find myself in front of the fridge.
Yes, perfect.
Every 20 minutes, I'm standing in front of the fridge, rearranging ham and cheese and milk. And even if I'm not hungry, I'm eating every 20 minutes, which for the Corona vamper is not the best thing.
I concur. Is that a right word? I concur.
Absolutely.
Ha!
You know, I watch colleagues posting yoga videos, or they're being creative and they're singing, or they're outside, or they're working out in front of their TVs, and I think, okay, really the only muscle that is getting any bigger with me is my stomach. That's the only thing that's getting any bigger. So,
have you ever tried competitive eating?
Competitive eating? No. Is that what the Americans do? Huh? They
Exactly.
eat basically as many hot dogs as you can in 10 seconds or something.
Yes, there's this guy I follow on YouTube. His name I forgot. And he does like these insane eating challenges. And he's like one of the record holders for hot dog eating. He beat the most famous competitive eater, and his name is Joey Chestnut. And Joey Chestnut, he used to be like the number one person in eating hot dogs, or in eating whatever basically.
Okay.
Because he ate like 69 hot dogs in 20 seconds or so. Like it was absolutely insane. And this guy, I'm going to find out what his name is. He actually beat him. So he ate like 2 hot dogs more than Joey Chestnut, which is unheard of. So I started following his YouTube channel. It's quite interesting. It is quite impressive because he's like this really small, tiny, sort of Asian-looking guy. But he can eat. Like, it's insane. Like, he beats all the challenges. Like, whenever there's a restaurant saying, if you can finish our blah blah big blah blah XXL steak, you get it for free. If you can't finish it, you have to pay like $100 or something. He just goes there, he finishes the entire plate, orders 2 more, and then leaves. Like, it's just insane. He eats, and he does these challenges when like eating 100 super spicy chicken wings. wait. I have to find out what his name is, because that is actually, it's really entertaining watching that guy eat.
How do you not throw up? How do you not be sick?
Well, that's how and why people become competitive eaters. They actually, okay, wait. Burger King challenge, whatever. He must be right up here. Matt Stoney, that's his name. Matt Stoney. I'm guessing he's not at all Asian. He just kind of looks a bit Asian. That was probably very racist of me to say. I'm quite sorry. Matt Stoney, very, very interesting guy. So the way they do it, they actually train by literally expanding their stomach. Like, that's the way they train. Okay. By also drinking gallons of water just to expand their stomach, and by basically training away their gag reflex. Because after a certain amount of food, normal people like you and I, we would start gagging, or because our body would refuse to let any more food in, and they train that reflex away, basically.
Oh wow.
And that's how they can eat and overeat, and at the same time, most competitive eaters are actually quite, like, they're slim. They hit the gym just like anybody else, like except for me. They have a pretty normal eating schedule. Like, the moment they come to a competition, the 2 weeks before they start working hard and expanding their stomach and blah 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 blah. But if they're not competing for like a few months, they will just eat like a normal person, or even quite healthily. Actually, they have this. They really count their calories, and they really try to, like, even when they're training, to get back to normal right away. So some competitive eaters actually gain like 10 pounds, which is like 5 kilograms, for like during one competition, because they have to work up their way in like a few weeks to get to competition. Well, not weight, but competition expansion, I guess. And that's it. But I completely digress. Welcome to the world of competitive eating with Gavin Turnbull.
Here we are.
Gavin, my friend, I told people in the introduction before, this is our second go at doing this podcast, which means I will have to ask you a few of the same questions again, or at least, hit some of the topics again that we discussed.
That's fine.
Now, let's please start with the big one, because the big one is, like, to me, it's still mind-boggling, even though you explained it to me quite well. I still think it's incredible that you not only played ensuite, you played Timon for how many years?
From 2005 until the end of till October 2015.
So 10 years.
10 and a half years, 10 years, around about there.
8 shows a week.
Yeah, it's crazy when you say it like that, huh? It really is crazy.
Well, it's look. I did ensuite before for half a year, and so I sort of know. I wouldn't compare myself to many of our colleagues, but I sort of know what ensuite feels like. I sort of know what it's like to play the same show like twice a day and 8 times a week, and I know the challenges that come with it. But playing a show for 10 and a half years, 8 times a week, that must have very unique challenges. Because usually, like after a year, maybe even 2 years, this show that I'm in will probably end, and it's going to be a tough time, because you sometimes really have to, motivate yourself to give it your best, which we all do, of course. But doing it for 10 and a half years, there must be a very unique set of challenges, and I want to really delve deep into these challenges, because I think that's like you and many of your colleagues from König der Löwen, from the Lion King, probably share these challenges, but you're like a really select group of people that have that unique challenge, and I want to know what the challenges are. Spill.
Well, I mean, the thing is, often people ask me, or when I was at Lion King, doesn't it become boring? Isn't it boring doing the same thing every day? But if you think about people doing office jobs, or delivering stuff for DHL or whatever, everybody kind of does the same thing every day. Okay, as a performer, as an actor, you're actually doing exactly the same thing every day. You're saying the same words every day.
I mean, imagine a gynecologist seeing the exact 50 vaginas every single day.
I hadn't thought about it like that, strangely enough. Constantine, thank you for that image that I have now.
There you go.
You know,
try getting that out of your head. Enjoy.
So in the beginning, of course, you know, it's new and it's fresh, and you're finding the character and you're having fun. And then at some point, probably after a year, you start to think about, okay, how can I do this different?
Right.
Even though in a huge show like a Disney show, you are very much restricted in what you can do. You have to be on this point. You have to be in this moment at that time on stage. You have to be in the light. You know, when they build a show like Lion King, for those people out there who don't know this, they find the show together with the original cast. And once that is blocked, then whenever it goes to a new city or a new country like Germany or Australia or China or wherever, they use that same template. So those people who are performing then Timon in Hamburg or China or Australia more or less have to do the same thing that the original guy did on Broadway.
But doesn't that mean that if you were, like, imagine everybody who ever played Timon fell sick and they needed a Timon right now on Broadway. So basically you could do that show without ever rehearsing it with that cast.
As long as you knew the text and,
yeah, of course.
You know, you weren't so fat that you couldn't fit into the costume anymore, which is my current situation. Yes, you could.
That's very interesting, because I just know that from other shows, like especially Tanz der Vampire, for example, I know that there are many things, and when you watch the show, like every now and again, you can see which parts of the show are very exactly staged. So, like, there are things where you know that Krolok or whatever has to move his hand on that word in that direction because that is the way the show goes. Yeah, exactly. So with Disney, I imagined it would be even stricter, like to a point where it gets ridiculous. Did you have any freedoms?
Well, yes. I mean, they didn't tell me how to move the puppet, or you know. You have to look left in this moment, or you have to look right in this moment. It wasn't that genau. Right. It was, but a scene was definitely set at a certain point on stage, and you know how the scene is managed and what it looks like is the same everywhere in the world.
Right.
So in the second year, you start to play around in your head. How can I make this fresh? What can I do to make this new and look different? So, Of course, you start to push the boundaries of what you're able to do until the director comes to you and says, hey, what are you doing there? You're not standing on the same spot anymore, or you're out of your light. Because, of course, the lights are very specific as well. And if you go... if you go too far left or too far right, then you're not in your light anymore. So
right, I get it. Okay.
And then in the third or the fourth year or the fifth year, it's like running a marathon, Constantine. You know, runners talk about hitting the wall, where they can run up to a certain point and then they hit this wall in their head, this mental wall, and then they can't run anymore. But if they can get past this wall, then they can run forever because their body just goes for it. It's in their body. They can run until they basically fall over. And around about the second, third, fourth year of Lion King, it was literally like that. I passed my wall, and it was so in my body that my body almost did it by itself. It was as though Timon was alive and he was actually dragging me around the stage and not me dragging the puppet around the stage.
That sounds like an actor's dream.
Like that. Basically, yeah. And of course, when people say, "Oh, it's always the same," and you're doing the same thing, but the audience is always different. You always get different reactions in different places, and that thing keeps it alive.
What I found on my very short en suite experience, what I found very fun, very entertaining to lighten the entire thing up, was when you get new cast members. Like, even if there's just one new person on stage, it's always a little bit exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So basically, you found your not your runner's high, but your team on high. And it just kind of went from there. Because the thing is, and I think everybody agrees, when you play en suite, there's this notion from an acting standpoint that you have to feel something on stage sometimes. Like that, I didn't feel my role today, or I didn't feel this or that. I believe, because a really cool acting teacher from Munich once said, es heißt nicht Schaufühlen, es heißt Schauspielen. So
sure.
I wonder when playing a show, and you said more than 3,000 times.
Yeah.
After a while, it must be impossible to feel the role. Did you experience some kind of like feeling it less, and then after a certain time, like after getting through the wall, getting a different type of feeling for the part, or was there anything like that?
It's at some point, you're absolutely right. At some point, you can't feel anything anymore because you're not inventing the wheel. You can't. There's only so much you can do.
Right.
Then it becomes. Then it comes down to faking it really well. Mm-hmm. You have to look as though you're feeling it, even though you aren't.
Right.
As you know yourself, I'm not feeling this anymore. I'm going through the motions, if you like. But as long as you can sell that to an audience where it doesn't look as though you're doing that, then you're okay. Right. And at some point, it was definitely learning the ability to look as though I was feeling every moment. But inside, you're thinking, in your head, you're thinking, what should I have for dinner tonight? Mm-hmm. Should I have pizza? Should I have spaghetti? That kind of thing.
Right. Funny.
And I mean, what you just said reminds me of that lovely story from Laurence Olivier and Dustin Hoffman in Marathon Man, the film, where Dustin Hoffman has to come into a scene totally exhausted, and he's really, really exhausted and tired. And what he did was he ran before the scene. He ran, so that when the director said action, he was out of breath. He looked gray. He didn't look well. And the story goes that after the scene, Laurence Olivier said to him, "It's called acting, darling. Just act." Is what he said to him. He said, "You don't need to do any of that. Basically, you don't need to feel it. Just act it. As long as it looks right, it's okay." Right. And I mean, that's the difficult thing with acting, because obviously not all, you can't always feel what you're doing.
Isn't that Meissner or something? Which acting technique is it where they're really strong on, looking into your own past and recreating that emotion and going from there? Because I strongly disagree with that. I mean, first of all, I think it's very much depending on the role. But if I imagine I had to play next to normal en suite, like playing the husband of a bipolar a woman who tries to kill herself and everything, like a really, really painful part, basically. If I were to, go into that emotion for real 8 times a week, I'd be suicidal at the end of the run.
No, of course.
So
or alcoholic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm already alcoholic, so that wouldn't be too much of a stretch. But yeah. Where was I going with this? Feeling things on stage, right? But how about feeling things off stage? Because after a while, I can remember when I played Pope Joanne, which is die Päpstin in German, in Fulda, I had private troubles. Like I was in a fight with my then girlfriend, and life wasn't too good in my private life, and we had to play like 11 shows a week, and that's already hard enough. But when you're struggling privately, like when you have a fight going on or whatever, like a loved one died or whatever might happen, it got so much harder dragging my ass on stage. So I imagine after 10 and a half years, like, was the stage still a sort of a lovely escape mechanism, or did it sometimes become a burden? Because I feel like when I think back to Titanic days, we only played like 30 performances, not even 25 or something.
Around about that.
And every show was special. Like I didn't feel like we were on autopilot ever, because we didn't play so much, and it just felt every single time, because it was
absolutely.
just so little shows. Titanic could become like, if I had private troubles being on stage with Titanic, because I also was a little nervous every performance, it was a way for me to escape private troubles. But when playing Die Päpstin, that didn't work anymore after like the first month. After that, going on stage was just, I can't. I have so much shit to deal with privately. I can't concentrate on what I'm supposed to be doing out here. Oh my goodness.
You know, I think if you have a show that not only interests you but motivates you, and you really enjoy it, and I'm not suggesting that you didn't like Die Päpstin, but if you're in a show that has quite a dark story,
like Die
and
Päpstin,
is like Die Päpstin, and at home life is quite dark, then you're going from dark to dark. There's no light anywhere, and then you've got to hope that you are enjoying the process of what you're doing.
Right. Well, I remember that funny enough though, the darker scenes, because they matched my personal mood quite a bit better, were easier to do. But the party scenes were very hard to do, and.
Okay.
Just for the record, if anybody's listening, I loved doing Die Päpstin. I think it's a phenomenal piece. I still listen to the music because it's so cool. So it was all about being, my private life, my private life being, well, not in shambles, but it was tough. It was tough. And dealing with that while playing 11 shows. We had like one off day, one single show day, and the rest, like Wednesday to Sunday, was double show day. It got really, really, really hard, because it felt like I'm not taking care of the trouble in my life, because I have to be on stage all the time, no matter the piece.
Well, you just didn't have any time. With a schedule like that, you've got no time to just sit and make a plan or think or try to figure something out. So yeah, that must be really difficult. What I tried to do at Lion King was, and it sounds simple, when I walked through the stage door, I imagined opening the top of my head, taking my brain out, and giving it to the guy on the stage door to take care of for the next 3 hours. And then when I came out, I would get my brain back and take it outside again.
Right.
Because it came to a point where, certainly at Lion King, having been there for so long, that, just go in, do the job, go home, and try to separate the life outside of the theater and the life in the theater.
Yes.
I mean, that's not to say that I didn't have friends in the theater. I did, and some friends who are still with me now and are some of my best friends. Well, and that's great if that can happen. But it's always I think difficult if you bring in the stuff outside that you're not happy with, and that follows you into the theater. Right. Then it makes doing your job even more difficult. It just makes it harder.
So did it get harder after like 7 years, or did it get easier after 7 years?
It went in waves, to be honest with you. I mean, on a day-to-day basis, Saturday morning.
What time did you have to play on Saturday? Like morning sounds like 11 a.m. or something.
No, lass mich lügen. I think the show started at 2:00 on a Saturday. Right. So we had to be there at 1. Right. So, but obviously you finish at shortly before 11 o'clock on the Friday night. And then, I would go to the canteen, have a couple of beers, whatever, and then go home, get some sleep. And it just, that break was very short between the Friday evening and the Saturday. For actors, morning of course, right? It's not really morning, it's afternoon. Normal people would say, hey, what are you talking about? And we talked a little bit about this last time. The first moment that Timon and Pumbaa come on stage is Hakuna Matata, which is all singing, all dancing, full energy. Hey, kids, here we are. Everybody knows this song. Sing with me, kind of thing. And
did they ever?
No, thank God. No, that would have really thrown me off.
Because in Vienna, when they did the show called I Am from Austria, which is written by this really famous Austrian singer-songwriter, they had a show that was a sing-along show, which meant everybody was encouraged, like the moment you know the song, sing along. And they all did, they loved it. And I wonder whether that would have been a really good idea, because I know people love that nostalgic feeling. I know people sit in front of the TV crying every single time they hear Circle of Life. So why not encourage them to sing along? I mean, at least Hakuna Matata. That would have been fun.
There we go. Dear Stage Entertainment, if you're listening, we have an idea. We have an idea for you. I have to say, they did on a number of occasions clap.
Ah, okay.
But
that's so German, isn't it? Clapping on one of the three. Hakuna Matata. Oh my goodness.
When you, dear German musical publicum, either clap, but not on the 1 and the 3, or don't clap at all, because it's really, really difficult to, you're on stage, you're trying to keep the rhythm, and you look down at the dirigent, and when the audience starts clapping, all you see is the conductor shrug his shoulders and put his stick on the table, because he's like, I can't help you now. It's over to you. You're on your own.
Oh my! Because I mean, especially when the song's supposed to get slower or something, and the audience doesn't hear that, and they keep clapping in their own tempo, and then everything's off.
Absolutely.
Oh
absolutely.
No! Oh, mother of God!
But luckily, that didn't happen too much. But on occasion, it did. On occasion, it did.
And I mean, I think during a number like Hakuna Matata, it's fine. Like, I think that's the one number where a little bit of freedom is fine. Like, it's such an upbeat, fun number. If little things go wrong, it's very forgivable, isn't it?
No, absolutely. I mean, we had moments in Hakuna Matata where my puppet would just spontaneously fall apart. So I would make a gesture and the hand would fall off. So Timon's hand would be actually on stage.
Oh no!
And I would have this stump there with a bit of metal sticking out of the end, and I would have the rest of the scene to do. And in those kind of moments, I would just kick the hand. I mean, everybody saw it, of course. I would kick the hand onto the side stage. And the only thing I couldn't do in those moments was look at Harry, who was playing my Pumbaa, because he would just be crying with laughter. And if I looked at him, then I would start to laugh.
Of course.
Then the little Simba would start to laugh, and then we're lost. Then it's game over.
Right. What was it like with all the kids? I imagine that must have been a bit difficult.
The kids, actually, the kids were amazing. The kids were amazing. They didn't have any kind of stage fright, or they would go out there and just do it and have the time of their life. All of the things that we as adults think about didn't interest them. They just wanted to dress up, put the costume on, and go out and have a good time.
Were they ever were they allowed to take a bow? Because I remember when I was a kid and I did my first show show. I was in an opera as a kid. I wasn't sometimes I wasn't allowed to bow because the Kinderarbeitsrecht or whatever didn't allow me to work anymore. So I wasn't allowed to actually bow.
And that was exactly the case at Lion King. The children, after the end of the first act, they don't appear anyway. Right. They would then be taken home.
So they didn't bow.
No, they didn't bow. Which is a shame, because they actually carry the entire first act of the show. It's all about the kids, right, actually. But no, they were never allowed to bow.
Too bad. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
It's good that these rights are in place, but still, too bad. Like, not even bowing, because of course the kids get the biggest applause, and that would have been awesome.
No, it's frightening, Konstantin. Now, I mean, I haven't done the show now for quite a while, 5-6 years, whatever. And I on Facebook, I'm friends with all of these children who are no longer children anymore.
Right.
They're all 20, 21. Some of them are married. I bumped into one of them, a little Simba, on the street. And he's bigger than me. And he came over, and this guy who I didn't recognize, I mean, I haven't really changed much other than I've lost my hair.
You had hair once?
Even at Lion King, my hair was already going. So, that's that. Yeah, I did have hair at one point.
I want to see a picture of that. I do not believe that for a second.
Yeah, I did. It's frightening, I know. I've still got it somewhere. It's lying around in a corner, my hair somewhere. And this guy, this big, tall, muscly guy came over and went, "Na, wie geht's?" and gave me a big hug. And I thought, I'm being mugged. I'm being mugged. I'm being attacked. But I was, in that moment, I thought, no, just stay calm. And he went, "Du kennst mich noch, oder?" And I was like, "I'm really sorry. No, I don't." He's like, "Yeah, I was with little Simba and blah, blah." I was like, "Oh my God, okay.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, they're all like that now on Facebook. The little Nalas and little Simbas are all out there in the world doing their gigs and working and married and looking amazing.
Well,
and
imagine
it makes me feel old, if I'm honest.
Look, when I did a show, doesn't matter. We had kids in the show as well. Namely, like the leads were mostly little girls, and I was added on Instagram by a girl, and I figured, I heard the name. I don't know who that is. Not a colleague, because I know my colleagues, but I know the name. Damn it! And then I looked at the profile, and I saw a freaking top model. Like, she was so good looking. It hurt. Super hot. And then I figured, yeah, that was the little girl who was on stage with you like a few years ago. It was, no. Because the moment I see her, I see the little child that I was on stage with turned into hot. Into really, really hot. And that is not cool. That's not okay. It's mixed feelings, and I don't like it.
No, it is strange when you have them in your mind as this little thing who looked up at you with these big eyes, and you
just want to hug him and go, "You're so adorable. Yeah, I like you."
Yeah, you had a great time together, and
all of a sudden they have boobs.
And all of a sudden, yeah, absolutely.
Just stop having boobs, everybody. Thank you.
They got boobs. I got wrinkles. I got wrinkles in my face and grey hair everywhere. So
well, wrinkles are.
We all get something.
Exactly, but wrinkles are hot. I still stand behind that. I think wrinkles are, honestly, like I have this discussion with Gloria a lot, not because she wants it, but Botox. I think Botox is a shit invention, to be honest, because I've never seen anyone well Botox. They don't look younger. They look the age they are, just Botoxed. I don't understand what the fuss with the wrinkles is about. What's the problem with wrinkles? Like, especially with women. blah blah blah. It's society. It's like, we all have to try to look younger. No, we don't. The most admired women, namely people like Judi Dench or Helen Mirren, like the top-notch Hollywood, like super admired women. None of them are Botox, and they're all working. All the ones that are heavily Botoxed, namely Nicole Kidman, yet not working that much anymore. So I figure
no, that's true.
There's absolutely, what's the freaking benefit? For what? For getting laid a little more, or what?
I think it's just kind of what society expects, unfortunately. It's one of those, they always say in our business, men are allowed to get older, and the older a man gets, the more attractive they get, the more work they get. And unfortunately, that doesn't hold true for women. Women, when they get older, they get less work. So I think the pressure on women, especially in our business, to stay young, to stay good looking, must be huge. I can't imagine how that feels.
Oh, I imagine it feels awful, but I also believe that we won't change that if we give in to that pressure by getting Botox. So, and I know it's tough, but I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that for 1 second. I'm sorry.
I saw Renee Zellweger. I saw recently, and she doesn't look like the same person.
No, she doesn't. It's. I mean, even though she was freaking amazing in that Judy Garland film, holy mother of awesomeness, that was good.
I didn't see that.
Oh, you have to.
Okay.
It's so good. I think she's going to win the Oscar. Or no, she already won the Oscar for that. No, wait, I'm confused. She's amazing in that movie.
What year is it? What year is it? What day is it?
Yeah, whatever. It's Corona year 12. I don't know.
It's the 128th of February.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, amazing movie. She's amazing in it. But, I keep thinking about Sylvester Stallone's mother.
You have some wonderful thoughts, Constantine.
Have you ever seen Sylvester Stallone's mother? Give that a Google.
I've seen Sylvester Stallone. Wait a minute, I'll look at it right now.
Give that a casual Google and enjoy what you see. Anyways, let's get back on topic. We were talking about young people becoming hot. The children were amazing. Lion King. Because you just mentioned that, I want to talk about something.
Oh dear God! I've just found Sylvester Stallone's mother. By the way, I absolutely understand what you mean. Anyway, carry on.
It's understandable why she's easy to Google. It's a thing. It's something to talk about. I believe.
Easy to Google, but not easy to forget.
Exactly. Now imagine you are her gynecologist. Now that's.
Oh come on! Come on!
Anyways, speaking of, see, the thing is, because you did something very courageous, that when I compare that might be comparable to women being prone to having to look younger than they are and such, and you decided to go bald. Your hair was going, and you made the decision to cut it all off. And as a guy with a shit ton of hair on my head, I of course cannot imagine what that is like. But whenever I see, a friend of mine struggles with his hair, and I keep telling him, just cut it off, dude, just get rid of it. It's like being bald is. I don't know anyone who regrets getting bald. Your comments, please.
I think as long as you have a good head shape, as long as you don't have a head that looks like a fried egg in a pan, how it goes in all directions. As long as your head has a decent round-ish shape, I think you're okay. By the way, that you've got a great head of hair. # I hate you.
Well, look, but this is the thing. A lot of hair comes with its own struggles. I can just.
Please. Oh, please.
There are mornings I wish I were bald.
You've got to get it cut. It's a difficult thing to know what style to put it in every day. Yes. Blah 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 blah. I know the stories. Anyway, I started losing my hair, I think, around about the age of 29, and obviously it was getting less and less and less and less. And my partner of the time said to me, no, just, put it in this direction, put it in that direction, put that strand of hair over here, that strand of hair over here. I mean, when you see a map of a river from space, that's kind of what my hair looked like. It, one went, it looked like the Elbe from above my hair. One bit went there, one bit went there, and I had and still have in my cellar about 40 baseball caps in all different colors because I didn't go anywhere without a baseball cap on.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody came and took the baseball cap off, which a couple of people did find that a funny thing to do, I would be horrified. People would laugh, but inside I would be dying. And my hand would go straight to my head and I would try to cover everything up. And on occasion, if I had to I had to be outside without a baseball cap, I emptied a can of hairspray onto that. So basically, I had Botox the top of my head because the hairspray was so sticky, I couldn't,
Right.
You couldn't move anything. And then I broke up with my girlfriend of the time, the one who said, put the hair over here and over here. And I was sitting at home, single, and a little bit depressed and a little bit down. And I thought, what do I do now? And where do we go? And blah, blah, blah. And how do I make myself feel better? And I kind of had a blackout, and when the lights came back on in my head, I was bald. And in the blackout, I'd kind of gone to the bathroom, gotten hold of the hair clippers, and just shaved everything off.
But you did own hair clippers.
Oh yes, I mean for trimming beards and that
right.
sort of thing. And
Right,
so
right.
and I took it all off, and I for days afterwards thought, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? This is. I mean, if we go back a little bit, I had inquired about a hair transplant. I'd been to a doctor here in Hamburg. I'd been to a doctor in Dusseldorf, actually where Jürgen Klopp went and had his hair transplant. I went to the same doctor, and they said, yes, Mr. Turnbull, we can do that for you. It will cost blah, blah, blah. And, we take each hair from the back of your head, we split it into 3, and then we implant it back into your head. And in a year's time, because the hair has to fall out, in a year's time, you will have beautiful hair. And I hesitated and didn't know if that was the thing I wanted to do, and blah, blah, blah. And it came to such a point where when I went to the doctor in Hamburg, he said, yeah, unfortunately, you don't have enough hair anymore for us to do this. We will be able to put hair at the front of your head, but then you'll have a Riesenplatte at the back, a bald spot. So I thought, yeah, what's the point? So I did struggle with it a lot because I guess I'm vain. I guess I mean, the thing is, I'm happier now than I've ever been with the way I look. And I wish to God I'd done it earlier. But, for a lot of people, it's getting past that that feeling, once I shave it off, then I am officially bald.
Right.
There's nothing I can do about it.
But like to me, as a person who cannot feel what you felt, doesn't it make more sense to, how would you say that, to decide yourself to be bald rather than to be forced to be bald because your hair just falls out? You know what I mean? Like to make the conscious decision to be like, listen, this isn't going anywhere. I'm going to decide myself to become bald like right away rather than waiting until it's inevitable.
No, absolutely. If the problem is, I don't think there's a point where you can say it is inevitable. In your heart, you're still hoping that what you've got will stay there, even though it's less than it used to be. There's never. You always want hair, I think, once you've had it, and I don't think you ever reach a point in your head where you go, okay, now it looks stupid. You always think, yeah, it doesn't look great, but if I do this, and if I do this, and if I try a little bit, or I only go out when it's dark. I stay home when it's light. There's stupid things like that.
Right.
But no, if of course, there comes a point where you make the decision, and anybody out there who's listening who is having that struggle, shave your head. It is the best thing that you will ever do. Really, it is.
You heard it here first, people.
And I have to say, now in the pandemic, when people are complaining about going to the hairdressers or not being able to get a haircut, I've had no problem whatsoever. I go into my bathroom, my hair salon, and I cut my hair, and it's the easiest thing in the world. And I save a load of money as well on haircuts. So it does have its...
And on hairstyling products, these fuckers have become very expensive, I can tell you.
Don't you collect that? Actually, you collect...
I do. Stop yelling at me, please.
Sorry. You collect Brill cream. Is it Brill cream you collect?
Well, it's not Brill cream. It's like all different types of pomade, clay pomade, hair creams, like any hairstyling product that I like. And it's not about the styling. It's more, I have nothing in my hair, and I usually don't have anything in my hair. I just really enjoy the scents. Like, I really enjoy when things smell nice. So that's why I love like high-end hairstyling stuff. Is like really close to my heart because it smells really good. But since I realize it's more about the scent than about the actual styling benefits, I switched from collecting hairstyling products that I almost never use to collecting perfumes, which is even more expensive. Isn't that lovely?
Excellent. Hey,
lovely, isn't it?
A man's got to have a hobby.
Absolutely. How long did it take you to learn how to shave your own head?
It's not the easiest thing in the world. Let me tell you. I mean, now I can do it no problem. But I'd
be scared of shaving off like little moles and stuff. I'd be scared shitless.
Oh, those things they grow back. if you take those things off, they grow back. That's not a problem. No, the most difficult thing in the beginning, of course, was knowing where to stop cutting. Where your neck begins and where your hair begins. And in the beginning, I was, looking over my shoulder, and I built a mirror in front of me with a mirror behind me so that I could see all of this. In the end, my hair looks exactly the same now as it did when I first started. So it doesn't make any difference.
There must be amazing tools by now for bald men to more easily shave their heads. Like, isn't there like a really wide, bendable razor or something that makes it so much easier to shave the head? There must be something.
There must be. There has to be. All I use is a wet Gillette razor for my neck, around the ears, and a little bit at the front, because I get a little bit of I get a 3-day stubble on the top of my head, which is slightly embarrassing. And then I use a hair clipper for the rest, and it's literally the easiest. Right. I need 10 minutes.
Right. Okay. Cool. Good. So I think I'm gonna go bald as well.
No, don't do it. You've got loads of hair. Don't do it. That would be a sin.
Honestly, look at my hair. It's wavy and curly, and it takes me for freaking ever to make it look the way I want it to.
It's beautiful. Don't say anything bad about it. And another thing, actually, to come back to jobs and work.
Did it do anything with your job?
Well, no, it didn't. It didn't. The real answer is no. But when I was then going for auditions, once I'd shaved my hair off, you really have, or at least I did, the struggle of, am I going to get this job? Do I look right for this? Mm-hmm. A lot of what we do when you walk into an audition, a decision is sometimes made before you've even opened your mouth, and before you've even sung.
Yes. With a bald head, you are a definitive type. I'm sorry.
No. After me. No, absolutely. You come in there and you have a very strong look.
Right.
And sometimes that puts people off. Sometimes they think, oh, he's good, but have we got wigs? Do we want to spend more? Do we want to spend money making wigs for this guy, you know, and those are the thoughts that were going through my head the whole time. Now, of course, I've been doing it now for so long with a bald head that I don't think about that anymore.
Right.
But in the beginning, it made me really nervous. I thought, you know, I would get absagen, and I would think to myself, oh, they took someone with hair, of course. Which, of course, is blödsinn. But those are the thoughts I had.
I can imagine. Right. Interesting. So, were you bald when you got Timon, or did you still have hair?
No, I had hair. I think the first job I got without hair, what an interesting conversation, was, let me think, was probably Titanic.
So you balded during Lion King?
Well, I lost my hair during Lion King. I shaved it off once I'd finished Lion King.
Right. Okay. So Lion King made you lose your hair. Okay. And
that's what 10 years of Lion King will do for you people. It will make you lose your hair.
How did your colleagues react? Because I remember when my friend first sent me the picture with, okay, I did it, I freaked out. I congratulated him so hard.
Yeah, I mean, I've been wearing hats for so long. I don't think people had actually seen me without a hat. So they didn't know if I had hair or I was bald anyway. So for a lot of people, when I suddenly appeared with no hair, they were like, "Oh, you're not wearing a hat." Well, that's what was surprising, not the fact that I didn't have hair.
But you couldn't sit in the Musco with a hat, could you?
No. But I haven't actually been back to the Masquerade at Lion King, so those girls haven't seen me how I look now.
Oh, now I get it. So after you were done with the Lion King, that's when you shaved your head.
Yes.
Okay, never mind. Okay, fine. Okay, cool. I mean, that is probably one of the most drastic breakup haircuts I've ever heard of. I used to have the tendency actually to shave my head like down to like 5 or 6 millimeters after breakup. Just get everything like, you know, gone. It made me feel better for some reason. Like cutting hair is a really good breakup thing to do, isn't it?
I guess even better when you know that it will grow back.
Right. Well, but look, that's another thing. We always get emails like before we start a production that says like for all the men, please don't cut your hair anymore. We really need you with all your hair, so please stop. Like especially no modern haircuts, like no undercuts, no nothing. Please stop cutting your hair. Which makes me go, well, I wish I was bald because you never have that issue.
No, I don't.
You're bald,
no,
period. Like for you, it's either wig or no wig, but you will never get the like. Nobody will ever tell you to please stop shaving your head. That's not because it's part. It's part of who you are. And for guys like me, it's always stop cutting your hair. That's why it looks. My hair is on fleek. That's what they said 5 years ago. It's on fleek.
The only issue I have is I always had a little bit of a beard.
Right.
Because if I take the beard off, I literally look like a hard-boiled egg. And I tend because the brow of my head, so from my eyes up over, is quite big, and my face is in the bottom half of my head. I look like a baby if I shave my beard off.
Do you know that movie with these aliens that have like this cone-shaped head? There was a movie series with aliens with a very cone-shaped head. Like it was shaped like an egg, basically.
No, I didn't see that. See that.
Wait a second. I have to Google the name of that movie. Movie aliens bald egg. Let's see what I find.
Egg.
It might literally be called Coneheads. It's called Coneheads.
Oh, okay. Oh, with Dan Aykroyd. I think that was in like the late 80s, early 90s, I think, right? No, I'm showing my age. Now
1993, so like 10 years after you were born.
Oh, okay. Of course.
Dan Aykroyd. Exactly. Dan. Oh, that's a hard name to say for a German idiot. Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd.
Don't know much now. Yeah, so when I go for a job now, and I had this with both Titanic and Funny Girl that we did together. The head of the masker, Uta, who I know because she's the makeup supervisor for Lion King, actually. And I've known her for years. When I saw her for the first time at Titanic and at Funny Girl, she comes up, she gives me a hug, and then the only thing she ever says to me is, "Der Bart muss weg." So
yes, she says that to everyone. And then she glues on fake beards.
Which don't stick. In the middle of a scene, they half come off, and you're trying to do a serious scene with this thing flapping backwards and forwards in front of your face.
You look like a complete idiot because that thing falls off all the time. Oh.
I know. I mean, I hate mastic. Mastics, for some reason, mastics never holds on my face. They put 2 liters of it to stick a mustache or a beard or whatever, and as soon as I start to speak, the thing just flaps off into the wind. And it never sticks. It never sticks.
Oh my God!
But that whole thing about shaving the beard off is it just gives me it just stops me looking like a hard-boiled egg, basically. So
good. Well,
that's the only Nachteil.
The moment I shave off my beard, I look like a 2-year-old. So that's why I kind of figure I have to wear one as well. Honestly, like. The moment I completely shave, I come out of the bathroom and Gloria looks at me and goes, I'm marrying a teenager. It makes me look so much younger.
Hashtag I still hate you.
Why? Because I look like a teenager? I don't want to look like a teenager.
I know, but that means in 20 years or 30 years' time, you'll still look young. Unless something drastically goes wrong. The fact when you shave your beard off and you look like a teenager, and you are now, 21 years old? In 20 years or 30 years, you'll still look young. That's a great thing. Don't complain about it.
Well, not when I want to play older roles. If I want to audition for, like, men, and I still look like half a boy, I'm not going to get that part, so...
Yeah, no, but then they can put a wig on you or stick a beard on you. That's okay.
Okay, fine. Let's open up a can we opened up last time because I think it's a super, super, super interesting topic. And we don't have to stay there for long, but I want to talk about it.
Okay.
Language barriers.
Yes.
Let's talk about German and English because I think I said it in the introduction. I can't remember. Your German is actually very, very, very good when not under pressure. And I remember we talked about colleagues that don't speak any German because there's also pretty much no need to learn it, and the struggles involved with learning German and your own experiences. What do you associate with this horrible, ugly language?
No, it's not horrible and it's not ugly.
Honestly, I think it's incredibly ugly. Which language invents a word like Kran? Like, that's just really ugly.
Kran, okay. I mean, German can be quite aggressive. I saw on the internet recently, tell somebody you love them, but tell them in German because the world is frightening and scary. Because in English you say I love you, and in German it's ich liebe dich. It has perhaps I'm overcompensating here a little bit, but it does have a throaty kind of sound to it. No, I think German is lovely, and thank you, by the way, that you're allowing me to do this in English. I really appreciate it.
Well, look, this is the thing. Would you like to prove to people that your German is actually really, really good, and we're just doing that because it's easier to get a very fluent, relaxed conversation going in your mother tongue?
Well, that's the thing. If when you do a show, obviously you get a script and you rehearse it 6 weeks long, And then you do a contract, whether it be 3 months or it be a year or it be longer. And the longer you do something, anything in life, the more practice you get, the better you get at it. So when I'm doing a show, hopefully, I hope my German is really okay and good enough and people can understand me. And when I'm talking with you, if we're somewhere and we're having a beer or with friends or whatever, then my German is relaxed because I'm not thinking about it.
Well, look, but
the moment
exactly my point, because there wasn't a single time where and we usually always speak German. And there wasn't a single time where I said something and I had the feeling you didn't quite get what I said. So your understanding of the language is like 100%. And from talking to you, your German is as good as my English. It's really, 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 really good. So the moment there is pressure, like let's record a podcast interview that people might listen to, it's like your brain gets in the way because you're scared of making mistakes.
That's it. As soon as I start to think too much,
Right.
as soon as I know this has to be perfect, and the pressure is you have to get this right.
Right.
Then you overthink, you overcompensate, and the strange thing is, usually the first thing that pops into my head, I ignore, and I think that cannot be right. That sounds wrong. Then I say something different, and the bad thing is, the second thing that I say is always wrong, and the first thing that I've ignored is always correct. But you really, or at least I do, my head just runs away and I overthink and I get nervous, and that's when I start to make mistakes.
Right.
When I first came to Germany, I knew Ja and Nein. And basically, I'd learned a little bit of German in school, and I have to say I'd hated it. I thought, why would I ever need German? I'm never going to go live in Germany. I'm never going to work there. Aha!
Well, look
And
at
yet
you.
here we are. What I tried to do when I came to Lion King is I tried to basically live my life. Not just like some people at Lion King, they would learn the show, and then they would speak English everywhere else in their life. And I was very lucky. I managed to get a girlfriend who was German, and she spoke German to me all the time. So we spoke German together. And when I made a mistake, she said, hey, no, you don't say it like that. You say it like this, which really helped. And I started to go out into Hamburg and live my life and speak as much German and be a part of society, if you like, try and do that as much as I could. And that really, really helped. And at some point, your ear becomes so good that you can hear what's right and what's not right. And on a normal circumstance, on a normal day, that works really well. But like you said, when you have to do something and it has to be correct and it has to be perfect,
Right.
then I start to overthink, and that's when I make mistakes. But yeah, German is, I mean, I love it. And yes, like you said, when we meet, we talk German, we don't even think about it. We talk German. So yeah, I try to do that as much as I can, but obviously, I feel somewhat under pressure here. That's why I prefer to do it in English.
Which is very unfortunate. I try to not pressure anyone, but I understand that it might be a bit intimidating.
No, it's not pressure from you. I'm putting myself under pressure. It has nothing to do with you. Gottes Willen.
I can tell you from experience, don't, because your German is really, you can trust it. You can trust yourself, and your German is really good. I remember rehearsals, not with you, in a completely different show, where we were a very English-speaking cast, like a very international cast, and most of the time we were speaking English. And the director said the rehearsal language is going to be English, even though his own English was really not good, like really far from good. which was
Okay.
quite embarrassing. But fine, he wanted it to be in English. I'm guessing also because he wanted it to be quicker, because some of the people in the cast, they also only knew Jahren, nein, danke. Yeah? But that led to rehearsals where, when we rehearsed a scene, and I mean, also most of the English-speaking people were the dancers. And when we were rehearsing a scene, just the actors basically, all of us were German, and the director was German as well. He still stuck to speaking English, which made things very awkward.
That's odd, yeah.
Because his English wasn't good, and some of the English of the people in the cast wasn't that great either. And I was standing there thinking, because he was so used to speaking English during rehearsals, that for him, being in rehearsal mode meant speaking English. And it made things very, very, very complicated. I mean, I understand when the director comes from England or is English speaking, then it's much easier to, to do the entire thing in English, because the director knows what he wants and he can communicate it much more easily when speaking English. But I personally think, even if it might make things harder for some colleagues, the language should be like the rehearsal language should be the language the piece is written in. So if we're planning on putting on a show and the show's language is German, we should rehearse in German as well.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. I mean, at Lion King, always to go back to Lion King, the any announcement that was made in the theater was made in English. I said at some point there was a big discussion about, but these announcements should be in German. We're in Germany, we're in a German theater, the show is German, we should be doing it in German. And at some point they did. The problem was they had to then teach some members of the cast what to listen for. So not only learn the text that they had to say in the show, but also, a typical announcement. So please call this number or come to the office or that sort of thing. They had to learn that, because when they turned everything to German, they had to keep repeating the announcement 3 or 4 times,
right?
Or then go to English until the person finally understood and then went to the office. And I mean, there's no excuse for that. I absolutely agree with you. If you're the last production that I rehearsed for, Man von La Mancha, with Landgraf, I was the only English-speaking person in the cast, but never in the rehearsal process did we speak English. Right. Everything was done in German. And even if I made mistakes, even if here and there this word wasn't correct, or I didn't get the Betonung right, no one said anything. It was just, okay, Gavin's English, but we understand him and we just keep going and everything's in German. And that's the way it should be.
Right. I mean, I agree. If the director doesn't speak any German himself, because, imagine, for example, Pretty Woman, and we have Jerry Mitchell, and he comes from New York to Hamburg and rehearses everything. I don't expect Jerry Mitchell to learn German just for that one production. So I think that would be silly. But the thing is, because we both know colleagues that basically, I'd say, refuse to learn German because there's no need. I don't need German, so I'm not going to learn it. Because I'm just going to dance on stage, or even if I am a cover, I'll just learn it phonetically and I'll be done with it. The problem with that is that next to stage entertainment and VBW in Vienna, and maybe St. Gallen, but that's a big maybe, it's going to be very, very hard to get jobs at Stadttheater and or Landestheater, like the regional theaters that are huge in Germany and Austria, because they won't be so nice and rehearse in English. So
no.
Not speaking the language is going to be a huge hindrance when you want to work anywhere else, like anything but stage entertainment or VBW. You have to know German, otherwise you're probably very unlikely to get the job. So I think by being a bit stricter especially stage entertainment, that do hire different language speaking people from all over the world, which of course is also a good thing. Yeah, I think being a bit stricter with letting them know you have to learn German. Like, we might be rehearsing in English, but the moment we're in the theater, we're going to be speaking German. Like, the announcements are going to be in German. Everything is going to be in German. Maybe even the Abendspielleitung will be German. The working language will be German. So learn it. Also because you have to know what you're saying. You have, like, if you have lines on stage, we need you to know what you're saying and not just phonetically know it or hear the translation once. Like, if somebody put me on stage in Italy, I don't speak a single word of Italian except for si, no, and gracias.
And that's more than me.
I'd be lost. I'd be standing there trying to regurgitate. Is that a word?
It is.
I'm on fire.
Trust it, Constantine, trust it.
I'd just be saying syllables, not quite, like, I probably know, like, this sentence means something along the lines of blah, 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 but I'm just, repeating what I heard. That can't be good acting either, can it?
No, not at all. I mean, when I first came here at all to Germany was for Glöckner von Notre Dame in Berlin. Right. And as I said, I came with literally Ja und Nein und Bitte und mehr nicht. And at some point I thought, if I want to really look as though I know what I'm talking about, if I want to look as though that this character that I'm playing is a real person, then not only do I need to learn the text that I have, but I need to know how other words sound and how they fit together. And I need to learn a little bit of German. And I did there. I did learn a little bit, of course, since I've come to Hamburg for Lion King. I've learned a lot more. But absolutely, if you go to any country, your example of Italy, if you go to Italy to do a performance, for your performance to be good and full, I think the best thing you can do is to learn the language, is to go out and explore and consume everything you can. The language, the type of people, the experiences, the atmosphere.
The food. When you're in Italy, eat the food.
I'm trying to do that a little bit less at the moment, but yes, you're right. And it will make you a better performer. And not only that, like you said, it will open those doors, like here in Germany, to Staatstheater, where if you don't speak German, what's the point? Right. Why am I going to invite you to an audition if you don't speak any German? There's no point in that.
Right. I played with a British colleague once, and he came. I think that was his first. No, it wasn't. It was his second engagement in Germany. His first was a big long run show, and the second one was a Stadttheater. And during the long run, he barely learned any German, which I found fascinating because he'd been in Germany for over a year, and his German was far from good. He could sort of make sense of what he was trying to say and everything, but we, like, at the end of the day, we kind of resorted back to English because it was very hard for him to communicate. But he did something very cool. He asked everybody at the table, like, if you're speaking to me directly and if it's something important and rehearsal related, then of course, then please say it in English because we'll just be quicker. But if you're just speaking amongst yourselves, or if it's like something, if you have the time, please talk to me in German. Because he realized that getting that job, like, he's a phenomenal dancer, like really phenomenal, and he has this amazing natural high tenor voice, like it's really cool. But he realized that getting other jobs in Stadttheater is not gonna be easy.
No.
Even though they might really be looking for him, because he's a phenomenal musical theater type style dancer. And there are not many around from Germany or Austria, like with German as their mother tongue. So we like for these types of dancers that are highly trained in musical theater styles, and ballet for that matter, most of the really good, especially male dancers, don't speak any German or don't come from a German-speaking country. So I think it would be a big win for everybody if there'd be more incentive to learn the friggin' language.
No, absolutely. It can only help. It can't. It can never be a bad thing.
Right. I mean, learning anything.
Absolutely. Even if, in my example, even if now in a year's time I say, oh no, I'm going to go back to England. Okay, I go back to England, but I can speak German. So I've learned a skill. I've done something for myself. And even though I'm in England and may never speak German again, I've learned something. To put it in a very arty kind of way, I'm a richer person for it. So
la-di-da.
It can only be a good thing. It never. I don't think there's ever a bad side to learning a new skill, whatever it may be.
Right.
Whatever it may be.
Right. Gavin, my friend, anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to say before I wrap this thing up?
Anything else? I thank you for keeping me away from the fridge for 1 hour and 14 minutes. That saved me at least 4 trips. Well, so I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful for that.
There's enough time in the day that you can make up for all of it. So I'm headed to my fridge right now. I got, by the way, my wonderful fiance gave me for Christmas a huge gift of like chili related stuff, like sauces and a chili salt and chili gummy bears and like chili everything from a company in Vienna. And one of the sauces made me sick to my stomach. And I can take heat, but I figured there was something wrong with the sauce, so I sent it back and was like, listen guys, I don't mean to be an asshole here, but I and a friend who's also good with eating chili sauces, we both sat on the toilet sweating like it felt like food poisoning. It felt really awful. It took 20 minutes and it was not good. So we figured this can't be just the chili. Like there was something wrong because it wasn't even like that strong. It didn't hurt as much in the mouth, but it just made me feel really bad. And I talked about it in the podcast. So I sent it back. I was like, listen guys, please have this tested because there might be a bad batch. Like there might be something wrong here because, so they sent it to a lab and everything was fine. They couldn't find anything that might have been related to our very strong physical reaction, but they said, well, it's still very unfortunate that you had to make that experience, so here's a little goodie. And they sent me 3 different chocolates with chili, and I just tried the first one. I'm not a big chocolate eater, but I love spicy food, so I figured let's try this. And the first one, well, holy mother of chili,
it's good, right?
It tastes good, but it's fuck me, it's hot. Like I know chili and chocolate like from the big companies like Lindt and everything, and they're you have this hint of spiciness. Yeah, there's no more hint. Like that's a flat out spicy motherfucker in your face. It really hurts, but it's really good. It's really good at the same time, and so that's where I'm headed right now. So what are you having?
That sounds lovely. I'm going to go away and try to forget about Sylvester Stallone's mother's gynecologist. is what I'm going to try and do.
Sweet dreams tonight. I wish you sweet dreams.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
No, I'm going to. I'm probably going to go for a walk, which I do on a daily basis, even though I don't know anymore why I'm walking, where I'm walking, and anything like that. But that's what I'm going to go do.
Same here, brother. Just keep walking and forget about the world. If you wait like maybe 30 minutes before you start walking, you might have a wonderful podcast episode to listen to while you're walking. Just a little suggestion.
I look forward to it.
Wonderful. Then I will send you something in half an hour. Thank you. Jetzt mache ich es mal auf Deutsch. Vielen herzlichen Dank, liebe Zuhörer, fürs Zuhören. Vielen herzlichen Dank an Gavin, dass du zum zweiten Mal mein Gast warst. Wie war deine zweite Podcast-Erfahrung? You can answer in whichever language you want to.
Super. Sehr, sehr schön.
Ah, Gott sei Dank.
Vielen lieben Dank.
Ja, aber gerne. Es war mir ein großes Fest. Ich hoffe, wir sehen uns irgendwann, wenn dieser ganze Irrsinn hier vorbei ist, sehen wir uns mal wieder persönlich und trinken tatsächlich
das hoffe ich auch.
Wir trinken hoffentlich ein Bier zusammen und essen Chili-Schokolade. Bis dahin wünsche ich dir noch eine traumhafte Zeit. Sag noch ganz kurz, Landgraf, Mann von La Mancha, kommt es nochmal? Wissen wir irgendwas?
22 erst.
Oh, also noch ein bisschen Zeit.
Ein bisschen, ja.
Ja, okay. Darf man über das andere Engagement schon sprechen oder noch nicht?
Noch nicht, leider.
Okay, dann sagen wir hier gar nichts, alles klar. Aber es könnte sein, dass man Gavin irgendwann auf einer anderen Bühne auch noch sieht.
Bald können wir was sagen, hoffe ich.
Gut, wunderbar. Folgt alle. Gavin, bist du auf Instagram aktiv?
Ja, auf jeden Fall. Gavin Turnbull 15. Gavin Turnbull 15.
Wunderbar.
Ja.
Alle Gamer von euch da draußen, ihr kennt Gavins Stimme wahrscheinlich weil er spricht in jedem Kampf, Computerspiel alles, glaube ich.
Nicht alles, aber sehr viel, sehr viel.
Was war das Letzte? Was war das Letzte, was du sagen musstest? Kannst du es nochmal wiederholen? Weißt du es noch ungefähr?
Das Letzte, was ich gemacht habe, war Everspace 2.
Und weißt du noch, was du sagen musstest?
Ja, das ist alles auf Englisch, aber
macht ja nichts.
Nee, weiß ich nicht mehr. Keine Ahnung.
Wie läuft
das ist so ein Ding.
Aber ich habe das noch nie für Computerspiel erlebt, weil das sind ja bestimmt irgendwie 100 kleine Sätze. Oh, the wood is empty. We should get more food. oder sowas.
Ja, das ist solche kleine Sätze.
Ja.
Aber jede Menge. Oder du spielst jemand, der sterben muss.
Ja.
Aber er stirbt in 20 verschiedene Formen.
Verstehe.
Ja.
Incredible. Okay, alles klar. Wunderbar. Also achtet, ich meine, deine Stimme ist sehr markant. Deswegen, liebe Computer-Gamer da draußen, achtet mal drauf, ob ihr Gavins Stimme irgendwo in einem eurer Spiele hört. Gavin, vielen herzlichen Dank nochmal. Ich wünsche einen schönen Spaziergang und schöne Trips zu deinem Kühlschrank. Und
vielen Dank.
Mach dir einen schönen Tag noch. Vielen Dank für deine Zeit und bis zum nächsten Mal.
Bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss.
Ciao.